taking self custody of your Bitcoin makes the price go up. And the reason for this is that if you take self custody of your Bitcoin, your exchange can no longer make paper claims against that Bitcoin. In this video, I want to go into this in depth. Let's get started. I want to start with explaining to you what exactly paper Bitcoin is. In total, there are 21 million real Bitcoin that you can take self custody of. So let's add that here, 21 million. Paper Bitcoin is just claims against that Bitcoin. So it's almost like fiat currency. You can create as many claims as you want to, and you can create more claims over time. You can keep creating more and more claims. If people aren't taking self custody, then the exchange doesn't have to worry. They can create as many claims as they want to. As soon as people start taking self custody, the exchange has to start worrying. If people don't take self custody for a very long time, exchanges become more comfortable creating paper Bitcoin and claims against Bitcoin because they know that people aren't going to take action. They're not going to take self custody. So, real Bitcoin, there are 21 million. Paper Bitcoin, there are infinite. There is no limit to the number of paper Bitcoin that can be created. This is just my way of saying infinity. So there's no limit to how many paper Bitcoin can be created, because if you don't want to take self custody of your Bitcoin and you're just allowing your exchange to hold on to your Bitcoin for you, then why do they need real Bitcoin? They can charge you the fees for your account maintenance. They can charge you for whatever you have to pay for to hold your Bitcoin on that exchange. And there's no obligation to them. They know that you're not going to take self custody of your Bitcoin. So, why would they want to limit your access to Bitcoin if it means they can continue to charge you fees? Now, I'm not saying that this is happening. I don't know if Coinbase, River, ShakePay, all these companies, I don't know if these companies are creating paper Bitcoin and fake Bitcoin, and if they own the Bitcoin. I think River is the only one out of those companies that has proof of reserves. I don't know if Coinbase and ShakePay and all these other companies are creating paper Bitcoin, but the only way to test that and to figure out if they are is to take self custody. If you ask them for real Bitcoin, they have to fulfill your request. If they can't fulfill your request, then they don't have what they owe their creditors and they should be going bankrupt. This is exactly what happened with FTX. At one point, they had one real Bitcoin on their balance sheet, but they owed, let's say, 50,000 paper Bitcoin. I don't know what the exact numbers here were, but at some point, they owed way more Bitcoin than they actually had on their balance sheets. Unless you take self custody of your real Bitcoin, you don't know if you actually own Bitcoin or not. If you leave your Bitcoin on an exchange, you don't own it. It's not yours. You don't have the private keys to it. You can't move it. If the government comes after it, that Bitcoin is gone. So the main takeaway here is that there's a limit to the real Satoshis that you can actually take self custody of. That total number is 2.1 quadrillion. If the exchange is creating IOUs to Bitcoin that it actually doesn't have, then we have a problem, because at some point, if that customer wants to take their Bitcoin into self custody, then that Bitcoin doesn't exist. Anytime you take self custody of your Bitcoin, you're exercising your claim to the real share of Bitcoin in the world. If that Bitcoin exists, then you can get it. If it doesn't exist, then you can't get it. If the exchange doesn't have it, it may have to scramble to buy it and give it to you, or it can risk going bankrupt. And what does this do? If they have to give you your Bitcoin and they don't have it in their own possession, then they have to go into the market. They have to pay whatever they have to pay to get that Bitcoin, and they have to fulfill your request. This bumps up the price of Bitcoin because more people are bidding on Bitcoin and they're trying to take Bitcoin. They're trying to take a share of that finite supply that exists that you can actually take self custody of. One of the things that makes Bitcoin so powerful is that you can take self custody of your Bitcoin within minutes. On the other hand, with, let's say, the banking system, they can delay your request for taking self custody of your cash for months. With stocks, there are 2 business days that they have to fulfill your request to sell your stocks for them to settle. With gold, it could take months because it's physical and it takes a lot of time to move from one place to another. Bitcoin takes minutes. People can take self custody of their Bitcoin within minutes. So if there are any issues with the exchanges that are supposed to have your Bitcoin, then those issues will be figured out pretty quickly. For example, FTX didn't have enough real Bitcoin to fulfill all of the paper Bitcoin requests that they had from their customers. So that news of people not being able to withdraw their Bitcoin spread on Twitter very, very quickly. FTX was running a fractional reserve banking system where they didn't have enough real Bitcoin to fulfill the requests that they had for Bitcoin from their customers. So they went bankrupt. There are, of course, other reasons for why you want to take self custody of your Bitcoin. And one of those reasons is that if you do want to move your wealth from one place to another, you don't have to ask for permission. You don't have to ask your exchange to do it for you. You don't have to put the request through on your brokerage app. You can do it all yourself. Bitcoin also can't be confiscated by governments. If you have self custody of your Bitcoin, your government can't take it from you without you knowing. They have to actually come to your house to take it from you. Whereas if you had it on an exchange and you had it on the exchange's address, but you don't have the private keys, there's nothing that you can do to get that Bitcoin back. That Bitcoin is gone. As soon as your government takes possession of it, you're never going to get that back. So if you don't have your private key to the address that's associated with your Bitcoin, then you don't have real Bitcoin. You have an IOU. You have paper Bitcoin. There are something like 2.7 million Bitcoin on exchanges, and I really wouldn't be surprised if there are actually 5 million Bitcoin IOUs just floating around with people thinking that they actually own Bitcoin, but they really don't. So if you keep your Bitcoin on an exchange, what this does is it gives the exchange more Bitcoin to use as collateral to create more IOUs against. So, for example, let's say they think that only 75% of their Bitcoin can be withdrawn within a very short period of time. What they can do is they can double the supply of that remaining 25% and they can sell it into the market and they can expand their operations. They can suppress the price of Bitcoin. They can buy shitcoins. They can buy whatever they want to. They can do whatever they want to, but at the same time, they're suppressing the price of Bitcoin because that 25% of the supply that they have, they dumped it on the market. Their customers still think that they have that Bitcoin, but they actually don't. That Bitcoin that they have is only 75% backed by their actual reserves. So take self custody of your Bitcoin. Don't allow your exchange to hold on to your Bitcoin for you. For example, this address here has 12.39 Bitcoin. This person, whoever owns it, hopefully it's not on an exchange, but this person has access to $1.35 million worth of capital immediately. They can sell it into the market and they can take $1.3 million out of the market immediately. You can't do this with stocks. Right now, the stock market is closed. So if you needed money, if you had to pay for something immediately, you can't. Let's say you had to make a business deal and you need cash up front. You can't get it because the stock market is closed. It's 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right now. The stock market is only operating between 9:30 and 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on weekdays. And if there's a holiday, then of course you can't access your money because the markets are closed. So taking self custody of your Bitcoin, putting it in your own wallet, number one, gives you that liquidity whenever you need it. Number two, it protects you against, let's say, government confiscation. Number three, it makes Bitcoin's price go up. Number four, it protects you in case your exchange does go bankrupt. You're not going to be impacted because your Bitcoin is real. You own that Bitcoin. It's yours. They can't touch it. On the other hand, if your exchange goes bankrupt and your Bitcoin is on the exchange, then you lose your Bitcoin along with that exchange going bankrupt. You lose because your exchange took a risk with your money and there's nothing that you can do about it. You're never going to get that Bitcoin back. So if you want Bitcoin's price to go up, take self custody. Put your Bitcoin in your own custody so that you know for a fact that you have real Bitcoin. Your Bitcoin can't be taken away from you and your government can't steal your Bitcoin from you. If you want to book a one-on-one meeting with me, if you want to talk about self-custody, if you want to talk about Bitcoin in general, you can check the link in the description below. You can also join the Bitcoin Explained community where we have a Bitcoin for Beginners masterclass and we also have the Bitcoin Purchase and Storage masterclasses. Both of them are available for all paid members in the group. There's also a free ebook on there where you get to learn the 10 misconceptions that people have about Bitcoin. So go and check both of those out in the pinned comment below as well as the description below. If you found value in this content, I would really appreciate it if you leave a thumbs up and maybe even a comment down below. It helps with spreading my content out to other people. take self custody of your Bitcoin. If you don't take self custody, then you don't own Bitcoin. That Bitcoin is not real. If you want to actually be a sovereign individual, you have to take self custody. And that's one of the easiest things that you can do to make sure that nobody can rob you of your wealth.